Before we get into it, I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? Kind of like being in quicksand. Either you found yourself and you need some help, or you haven't found yourself yet. I got you. We're going to help you get your happy life through your goals. I am Jenn, your goal coach, and the host of the Lost and Found podcast. We're going to discuss foundational work all the way to that big, bold goal of yours and how to break it down to achieve it, and everything in between. Now let's create your happy life. Let's get into this episode. Welcome to the Lost and Found podcast, episode 10. Very exciting, the 10th episode. So I am here with Jenn with two N's, like me. Jenn is a single mom of her 19-year-old son, Nikki. She's a dog mom of two pups, Rex and Ollie. She's an elementary school teacher and a health coach. And her life changed with one Facebook post. We'll get into that a little bit more. Welcome, Jenn.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting.
I'm so excited
I love your
for you to be
podcast
here.
and I love listening to them, so I feel honored.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and then we'll kind of jump into it.
Sure. It's funny that your podcast is called Lost and Found because I went through obviously elementary school, high school, college. I was lost. Like I didn't go to college, like probably more than like going to college. Everybody went to college and I went away, but I had no idea what I wanted to, do with my life. And a couple of my friends in college were speech majors. So I became a speech major. Graduated college and did nothing with it. I ended up moving to New Jersey, meeting someone. She worked in a preschool. She got me a job there and I decided to teach. I love teaching, but I don't think it was like my passion. So I think I was kind of still lost for so many years too. I met my ex-husband. We got married. I have my son, Nikki, who's a sophomore in the University of Alabama. Pandemic came. We have two dogs, like as you mentioned too. And I don't know, like I just never knew if I found like really what my niche was. And as you said before, like one Facebook post really did, change my life. So now I am a teacher, I am a mom, a dog mom, and a health coach, and hoping to change people's lives like mine was changed also.
That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
What grade do you teach?
So I'm an academic support teacher, which basically means I push into different classes, kindergarten and first grade, and help kids who struggle in math and literacy. Before that, I was always like a kindergarten teacher. I like the little ones. I think the big ones scare me a little bit.
I love that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you. Okay. I do love teaching, but I do love health coaching also.
Well, I feel like coaching is also a form of teaching in some sort of way. So let's talk about this Facebook post. So when we were chatting a little bit in our pre-meet, it so resonated with me. You were just like, my life just changed with this one Facebook post. As somebody that has a coaching business and social media is such like a big thing of how you get your clients and how you grab people's attention. Also how you just help people freely out in the world, put content up, you hope it resonates with people, and it doesn't matter if they buy into your program or not, you're still helping them because in a way you like helping your former self almost. That's how I look at it. Like I like to help women that are like me 15 years ago. How can I help them and collapse time for them? Have it not take a decade, to like find yourself again. What resonated with you in this Facebook post and like what made you stop the scroll?
Okay. So I remember January 30th, 2019, my alarm goes off.
First of all, I love that you know the day.
I do.
I love that you know the day.
That day just changed like my life completely. So I wake up and there's always like extra time in my morning because I'm not going to just get out of bed. So here's my phone, scrolling Facebook, email, this, that, and the other thing. And I came across a post that I say a friend, but we weren't friends then. Our boys were friends. So it said that she was down 30 pounds in 3 months and was feeling better and had more energy and she loved what she was doing. Again, we're not friends, but about 7:30 in the morning, I decided to call her and say, hey, what do you do? I did. I don't even call people. And I called her at 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm fat. I need to lose weight. And I know people get mad at me when I say that, but like, that's how honest I really was. I wasn't expecting. I did. Yeah. I wasn't expecting like life-changing stuff. I just really thought like she would tell me some diet she was on or whatever it was. I think about 8 months before that, my mom and I did the egg diet. You don't know what it is? Look that up. We ate eggs every day. It was dumb. Like it really was dumb. Before that, I've done like elimination diets where you eliminate everything that brings you joy in your life. You give up everything, you're successful, whatever. So she's like, oh my God, this program's amazing. You're going to love it. I'll call my coach and she'll call you after school, like on your way home. And I went, oh, okay. And she luckily didn't see my face because I don't do coaches. Like I mentioned, I was divorced. I was a poor single mom. Like I've had my car repossessed, my lights turned off, my cable turned off. Like I've had a lot of stuff. And any money I'm making being a public school teacher really just went to surviving and for my kid,
Right.
who was,
Yeah.
I think he was about 15 at the time. But I'm also like a nice person. So I said, okay. And she told me the name of the program. And I went on the website and I went, oh God, I'm not doing this. Like, I can't afford a coach. I can't afford this price, but I'll just like take the conversation after school, which is what I did. So I get in the car. She calls me. She's asking me, her name is Danielle, and she's asking me just a bunch of questions about my health, about my lifestyle. And she's like, so how many days a week do you exercise? I'm like, obviously, I don't exercise. I'm so overweight. Like, that's just a silly question. And she's like, no, 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 that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm like, okay. And then she's just asking me these questions. And I'm like, yeah, I can't really do this. So she tells me all about this program. But before that, like, she's just listening to me. Like, she's just hearing my thoughts and the tears are flowing. I remember, for all you Jersey people, I'm driving home from school on 287 in rush hour, having this therapy session with Danielle, who's just listening to me. And she's asking questions, but she's really just hearing me out. She's
Yeah.
hearing like my fears about spending money on myself. She's hearing about my lifestyle, how I was lazy and didn't cook and would just like go to the diner with my son. You're a Staten Island girl, French fries, mozzarella cheese,
Oh
gravy
my
on the
God. Yes.
side. You know
Yes.
what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Exactly. So she's hearing me. And she gets to the part where, you know, you have to buy food. And I'm like, yeah, I don't buy food. Like, I don't do bars. I don't do shakes. Like, that's just not what I'm about.
Yeah.
And she's like, listen to me. The food that you buy acts as a tool to help you lose the weight. And you're going to learn healthy habits. I said, well, is this something I'm going to have to buy for the rest of my life? She's like, absolutely not. I'm like, okay. I said, but Danielle, I really can't afford this. Like, again, every penny I go is to my son. She's like, Jen, you told me you go to Starbucks. I said, yes. She goes,
Hmm.
how often do you go to Starbucks? I went 6 days a week. And she goes, and what do you get? And I always remember, I go, grande, double chocolatey frappuccinos, skim milk, no whipped cream, and banana nut bread. And she goes, and how much are you spending? I went, $7 or $8. She goes, can you please do the math and tell me how much money you're spending on breakfast, and then think about what you need to pay to get healthy. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. And
Yeah.
I listened to a few more things. I took out my debit card in rush hour traffic and I joined. And I always remember that day because that was the day that changed my life. Like that was the day where I decided to put me first. And I did that because she really made me feel heard and listened to. So I take that away when I speak with people, whether it's a
Hmm.
conversation just like you and I have, a prospective
Yeah.
client, or someone I meet in the supermarket. I just try to make them feel heard and appreciated and loved.
Yeah, it's so funny because sometimes it's all we need. We just need someone to hear us. It's scary sometimes to go to a therapist. I've done therapy in my life. I've talked about it on this
Yeah.
podcast. You just need someone to talk to, you know, when you're feeling a certain way, and that's a good coach, just like legitimately like not selling you. I'm not selling you. I want to know what's going
No,
on with you and what you need. And sometimes it is just word vomit. You need word vomit. You need to just like
I
unload.
no, you're right. If she tried to sell me, I never would have said yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm never about like selling people. I'm not one who's easily swayed by commercials. Like there's very few commercials that I'll look at. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to have that. Like it's not kind of just who I am,
Yeah.
but because she took that time to get to know me and to get to hear me. It's funny because I woke up that day, I wasn't going on a diet. Like I wasn't thinking of changing anything about me. But
Yeah.
between the post that my friend put up and my conversation with Danielle, life just changed that moment. And
Yeah.
it's been a great 4.5 years. And I've only
Wow.
looked
Four and a
back
half
with like,
years. I didn't know that part. Oh my
yes,
God.
it's been 4.5 years since I said yes to me. So it's been amazing.
I love that since you said yes to me. That
Thank
is,
you.
you know, putting yourself first too. It's like, I think it's the cornerstone of happiness. You need to put yourself first. And a lot of people feel that putting yourself first is selfish. It's actually
Nope.
the most least selfish thing that you could do, because when you fill your own bucket, you could fill everybody around you's bucket. And I don't have children, but I'm sure when you felt good, your son saw it and it radiated. And, you know, what it does for him is just amazing.
So it's so funny what you said about buckets. So the teacher part of me, there's been times our school has done something called bucket filling. And it's filling other people's buckets in order to like fill your own also. So it works both ways. But she
Yeah.
helped me. And in turn, like she filled her own bucket, but she really like built me up. And I try to do
Hmm.
that for people also. I think my son does see it. Like it's funny. A lot of the things that I purchased prior to discovering this program, I would go to the supermarket and I wanted to be the mom that like baked cookies and brownies and like had snacks in the house and like did all those things. Like before like that time, we lived with family and it was really hard living with family, not like anyone's fault, just me and an extra child in someone else's home. And it wasn't what I
Yeah.
thought life was going to be. But so I'm like, let's make cookies, let's do this, let's do that. But when I decided to, get healthier and think about me, he never asked for that. So I think I was just like overcompensating a little bit for him. He actually did my program too. A
Did
year after
he?
the pandemic. Yeah, he did it in I forget, 2020 or 2021. He did it. He lost 25 pounds that year on it. So it really does work for everyone. He changed his lifestyle and he became like a healthier, more energized person too. But I guess I
That's
did set
awesome.
that example for him too. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. That
Thank
is
you.
absolutely amazing. I also find it, interesting how when we were talking earlier, how you were saying like I was getting on the call, but it wasn't in my budget. It wasn't the thing I would do. Or like you already had a no before you
Oh,
got on the
definitely.
phone. It was a no
Oh,
already. And it's funny because I really believe in coaching, obviously, but I have a business coach and I was very curious about her. I hopped on a call with her as well. I was a no as well because I knew how much her program was and I
yeah,
knew that I couldn't afford it. And after I was on the call with her and her energy, her vibe, she immediately built a relationship with me in 15 minutes. And that's what it's building relationships with people are so important. And I was like, I'll figure it out. And I figured it out. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But it's just that relationship building is so important in all aspects of life, business, personal, all the things. And that's what your coach was focusing on, just building a relationship.
Right, because you didn't buy her service, you bought her. I didn't buy the service, I bought the relationship with her. And
Right.
because of that relationship, I was able to look past buying, certain foods or spending money that I didn't have, but I just had to reprioritize something when it became that important to me also, which is, I'm guessing, some
Yeah.
version of what you had to do also. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I really want to build this business. This is important to me. I want to do something else in my life in my, next season of life, but I want to help people. I didn't know what that looked like. What does that look like? How can I help people? And she actually helped me figure that out, what that looked like. It was relationship building and it wasn't selling. Like she didn't sell me. She would just listen to everything I had to say, like, well, what's stopping you? And I had limited beliefs and who knew? I didn't even know what those were. And like all these things. That's good coaching.
So it's really funny. So I reflect back on my first call with Danielle, the crying, like all of that stuff. And I not knowing her really, but I'm thinking my own insecurities, like she must have thought I was like crazy. Like here I am crying on this call and like just saying things to her that you don't usually tell people that you don't know.
Yeah.
Especially like just to go at that point, I thought I was going on a diet. I didn't know what I was actually, signing up for. I just knew I trusted her for some reason. So a couple weeks later, she gets me on a call with her coach to review my program and see how things were going. And they heard the excitement in my voice, how I was down, like I think it was like 12, 13 pounds at that point. I was feeling better. I was like taking pictures with friends. I would FaceTime people. I would never FaceTime people ever. I would never have done a call like this where I get to see myself in the camera 5 years ago. Like it wouldn't have happened. And I remember them saying to me, you should coach. And I'm like, you're crazy. I'm like, I don't have that in me to like coach. She's like, Jen, you do. And I told her no. Like my first time she asked me, I said, I'm not coaching. Like I'm not far enough. I don't know enough. I was so insecure still, even though I was feeling better. Like I didn't trust her in that sense, like, because I didn't really
Yeah.
trust me.
Yeah.
Couple of weeks later, she calls me on my way to work and she's like, listen to me. You put up a post yesterday on Facebook. I don't remember what the post was, but she goes, you sound like a coach. You should definitely reconsider and think about like paying it forward and help others. And it was April Fool's Day. See, I remember certain
Oh
things.
my God, you
It was
totally remember days.
it was because it was April Fool's Day. Maybe if it wasn't like a different day, but it was April Fool's Day. And I'm like, I spoke to her on my way home from school one day, and now I'm on my way to school. So I just said, okay. Like I literally went like, okay, I'll do it. And I took the plunge. I decided to do it. She helped me build my business. But I got back on a call or a messaging with the other coach, her coach one day. And I said to her, I'm like, Allison, I don't really think I'm good at this. Like, I don't know how to sell things. Like, I'm not a seller. And that's when she taught me. She's like, we don't sell anything, Jenn. She's like, we're not selling a product. We're selling ourselves. We're selling like a lifestyle. And if people want some of those things, we can help them achieve it. And you said something about like selling products or something like that before, and
Yeah.
it made me remember that conversation I had. And I try to inspire people that way, which is also why I'm like very super honest about like where I've been and like what I'm about, because my story could hopefully, like your story, can help other people just be a little bit more open and honest.
Yeah.
But you made me remember that, like when you said
Yeah.
that about selling and stuff like that.
It's so true, because just a little story. I was like, okay, was talking to my business coach and I was like, I want to figure out, I want to help people. I want to help people achieve their goals, because that's how I got out of my rut. It's like one little goal at a time, one little goal at a time. And then I actually built my program unbeknownst to me. I had no idea I was building a program. I didn't even know what I was like. I was just trying to, get my happy. Like I was just trying to, get out of my rut and like, get out from under my divorce. And she said something to me and she was like, well, I really think you should talk about your divorce. And I was like, oh, girl, I don't know. Like I didn't know what feelings that would bring up. I didn't know if he would ever listen to it. I didn't know, not that I give a shit about what he thinks,
But still, right. No, I
I just didn't want to dredge it up. I just was like, oh, I don't know. And then she's like, all right, you have to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable. So you could talk about your, being in the corporate world and like how you, revolve my life around my career. And I was reaching that goal, getting to that goal. I achieved that goal, but the rest of my life was shit. And like that's how I built my 10 life pillars and how I built the program. But she was like, okay. And she gave me this like task to do this like these stories on Instagram of like telling your story and like why you're here, and it was really difficult for me. And like, I did it once, twice, did it 3 times. And she was like, try again. And it was like 6:30 in the morning on like a Sunday. And I was just like, F this. And I started writing about my divorce. And it just felt good. Like it felt good. I sent it to her and she was like, that's it. I was like,
wow.
And that's actually how I got my first client. She saw that post. And it's when you become vulnerable and you do want to help people, it is important to tell your story. And, and you don't want people to be in the situation that you are in. Like, it's like, you really do want to collapse the time, because I was literally separated for a decade. And just because you too?
Me too.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. My husband left when our son was a little over 2 months old, and we did not get divorced until he was 13 or 14 or something. It's not that we were together at all, but I was a poor mom. I wasn't paying for a divorce. I wasn't dating anyone. I wasn't looking to get married at that moment. So I never pursued anything because I already knew I was divorced, like in my brain. So I didn't need that piece of paper. And I wasn't paying for it. So he eventually paid for it and everything. And that's why I got divorced. I think it was like my son was like 13 or 14, like when it happened. But yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. For me, it was just a very much, I thought we were working on the marriage. I mean, I was, but he definitely wasn't. But,
I get it.
it just, whatever. Once I, found myself, I was like, this is it. It's done. But want to get back to your weight loss success and just tell us a little bit about how much you lost, how you did it, and then all the things. Tell us all about it.
So I think I mentioned before that in the past, when I've lost weight, I would just eliminate things from my life. I love chocolate. So obviously I would give up chocolate. I love ice cream. I love cookies. I would give it all up. And I would eat like a salad, grilled chicken every day. It was boring, but I would, somewhat be successful. But I wasn't learning anything. So when I would be done dieting and like, oh, I look good now, little by little, the weight would creep back on. So when I was turning 40, I think about 5 or 6 months before my 40th birthday, I did one of those diets. And I was good for my 40th birthday. Life was great. But then in those 9 years and life happening and not learning anything, I gained a lot of weight. And I knew it was there, but it affected me from like FaceTime, I said, or I wouldn't do like, thank goodness, like pandemic happened after I lost the weight, because I taught on Zoom for like 8 months. So I would have been miserable, like staring. I would have probably like closed my camera or something like that, because I couldn't handle it coming back to me. But when I found this program, I lost 78 pounds in 9.5 months. I hit my goal weight the day after Thanksgiving. I know. It's crazy. I mean, it's completely crazy. So I know dates. So February 10th was the day I started. Oh my God. I started February 10th. From January 30th to February 10th, I said goodbye to all my favorite foods. Goodbye bagels, goodbye this, goodbye that. Again, not really knowing what I was getting into.
Right.
Hit my goal weight the day after Thanksgiving. So it's almost 4 years that I've maintained that healthy weight.
Wow.
So our program is amazing because it's not a diet. It's learning and adhering to healthy habits that are going to stick with you for your lifestyle. It's really actually easy. It seems a lot, but it's really easy. I eat an hour within waking up in the morning. I use my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I use an app now called Eatwise, and I set timers to remind me to eat
I'm
every
writing
two and a
this
half
down.
hours.
I'm writing
Yes.
Eatwise down.
You got it. I love my Eatwise app. I didn't know about it when I started, but now I like live by it.
Yeah.
I set my timer to eat every 2.5 hours. I eat small meals throughout the day when I was losing weight. And then I eat one meal that we refer to as a lean and green, which is really just like proteins and vegetables. And the great part is it can be something super simple, like rotisserie chicken, steam a bag of broccoli. But
Right.
I make like awesome dinners. Like I wasn't a cook. I was the one who, there's burn marks on my body if you could see it. Like I burn my body. I'm not even joking. Like ovens, fire alarms go off. Like it's pathetic.
Dying.
But I make like awesome things now that you would never think people who are losing weight could eat. I weigh my proteins. I weigh my vegetables. I drink at least like 100 ounces of water each day. For me, and this was the crazy part then,
Mm-hmm.
we were encouraged, or it wasn't encouraged to exercise. So I lost the 78 pounds without exercise because when you
All food.
exercise, it was all just like habits and diet and water. Yeah. Like I said, I used food from the program, fill in the multiple times a day that I eat. It wasn't with exercise. There is like a caveat now, which I am going to explain too. Those foods, we call them fuelings, they acted as a tool to help me learn the healthy habits so I can lose the weight. And then when you get to your goal weight and you're transitioning from our program to maintenance, we're replacing those foods with foods that you buy in the supermarket. So when you hit the final phase maintenance, if you never want to buy another product from our company again, that's fine. Because now you've learned the habits that were
right.
helping you lose that weight and you could be successful going forward. That being said, I do keep products in the house. I consistently eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. So if I'm in the car and I'm driving somewhere, I mentioned my son goes to Alabama. So if I'm in the airport and I don't want to buy airport food, I'll pop out like a bar or crunchers or chips or whatever it is. I love cookies. And if I went to someone's house and they had cookies, I would eat a cookie. But I don't need to keep like chocolate chip cookies in my house on a daily basis. So
Right.
maybe I'll have like a cookie from our program. But I love that I don't have to buy these things anymore. If I choose to eat them, great. If not, I'll have yogurt, I'll have berries, I'll have cheese, I'll have nuts, I'll have like, egg and like some cucumber. I've learned how to eat in restaurants now. So it's not French fries with mozzarella cheese
Right.
and gravy. So there are days I want that. Like there will be days I will eat that and I'll just be more mindful like the next time my timer goes off.
Right.
So it's pretty awesome.
That's amazing. So
I know you were successful in your own journey though too, and that's amazing.
Yes, I'm gonna have you do a little coaching session for me.
Okay.
So
You got
I'll tell you a little bit about my weight loss journey. I have struggled with weight loss probably since I'm in my 20s. When my grandmother got really sick, just gained a ton of weight and kind of like never really put it off. I did the same thing. I did all the crazy diets, I did everything. About, I would say during my separation, this is terrible, and how I let someone do this to me, I have no clue. But my ex-husband was like, maybe like we can work things out if you lose some weight. I know my mother's going to have a heart attack when she listens to this, but it was something that was said.
Of course.
I literally starved myself. I went on this crazy diet where I think I drank milk. There were milk days and vegetable days. And this shit was horrible. I lost like all my hair.
Oh, I never heard of this one.
Oh my God, it was terrible. It was just, the whole thing was terrible. But I got down to my goal weight. I was like, incredibly unhealthy, but looked healthy. Anyway, that obviously didn't save my marriage. But I did that, gained it all back, and then some. Then in November of this year, I decided that I was going to have weight loss surgery. I was thinking about it for such a long time. I needed to do it. I didn't want anybody's opinions. I didn't want anybody's anything. I went by myself, and I live with my boyfriend now. We've been together for 6 years. I didn't even tell him, and which I think he wanted to have a heart attack because he just wanted to be there for me, basically.
Of course.
And he was upset about me wanting to have the surgery because he was like, I love you how you are. Like you could be 1,000,000 pounds. You could, just like a total different person. Like
total different person.
I don't even know how I just total different person. Like can't even imagine. Like truly learned what unconditional love is through Richie. Like out of control. But anyway.
Yay, Richie.
Yes, yay, Richie.
Team Richie.
he was just like, I don't, but if this is what you want to do, it's what you want to do. I'll support you no matter what. So that was also very new to me. And I just did it. And I just, a lot of people feel like that's like a cop out. For me, it just was what I needed. The surgery does what it does. And yeah, I lost 56 pounds, to this day, but I am at a
Mhm.
complete standstill. I need to lose 30. I have it on my vision board. I'm staring at it right now. I need to lose 38 more pounds. And I'm not budging. Like I'm not budging at all. So what would you say? Let's do a little, thing now, my background. What do you think? What would you say if I was come to you and
So, first of all, I will give you that answer, but I'm thinking back at your ex-husband and
yes.
how you listened to that then, because then you were a totally different person than you are now. And
Oh
I
yes.
know, has the short time that we've known each other, like a month or so,
Yeah.
I know that there would be no one in your life that would ever make you do something like that. Not that you would listen to, I should say. And that would never, ever, ever happen again. Like, even if
No.
I think we love Richie. I mean, I think I love Richie. But even if Richie wasn't here tomorrow, I know you would never get to that point again. So that I know is like so amazing for you. So I'm
Thank
proud
you
of
for
you because I
saying
know
that.
that would never happen again.
Yes. I don't
Um,
even know that person from back then. I
no.
have no idea who that person is.
It's looking at your habits. I mean, I'll give my program a shout out all the time. Like, Healthy You is amazing. And I believe whether you have a lot of weight to lose, a little weight to lose, or just looking at your habits, and this is not you, this is the anyone you, it really does teach us a lot about what we are. But it's never starving yourself. It's never eliminating everything from our life that brings us joy. It's a learning about balance. It's definitely about water. It's under the misconception that, like, you don't have to eat lettuce and grilled chicken every single day just to like lose weight too.
Yeah.
Sometimes exercise, no, it's amazing. And our program started a new exercise component for people who don't want to give up exercise and
Yeah.
lose weight at the same time. But some people think, like, let me just work out, let me just work out, let me just work out. But then they're not fueling their body right. So they're not eating enough food and that weight just stays on. So whether you do my program, you do your own thing, it's small, consistent meals throughout the day. By doing that, like, our blood sugars stay level. And then we don't have those cravings also. Like, people who are diabetic, like, they need to keep their blood sugars like that. Otherwise, like, their sugar spikes or drops or whatever it is.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're diabetic. I'm not diabetic, but
I was
when
before the surgery, and I'm actually not now. So
good
that's
for you. See, and
amazing
it's
too.
health.
Yeah.
It's health. It's being healthy. It's not just being thin. Like you said, you were thin, but you weren't healthy.
Oh my God,
Back
I wasn't healthy, I wasn't
milk.
happy, I wasn't anything.
No. Right, you were miserable. You had
Yeah,
milk. I mean, there's nothing wrong with milk, but, like, you had milk every day and, like, whatever else
yeah,
you said. Like, that's just,
trust
like,
me.
it's silly. It's like my
Yeah,
egg diet. Like, I love
yeah,
eggs, but come on. Like, it's
yeah.
crazy. But it's also, like, I'm never gonna sell you, but it's about finding something that really works for you. So
Yeah,
it's water, it's balance, it's doing things in a healthy way, it's being consistent. It's not binging on it. Obviously, you know this, like a box of chocolate chip cookies. I could do that. Ice
mhm.
cream. DoorDash delivers ice cream. It's the worst invention ever in the whole entire world.
I
It's true.
know.
DoorDash will deliver Carvel to my house. It's awful, but I've definitely been there. Knowing that just because they're a vegetable doesn't even make it like the super healthiest thing. Like, we can't just like overload on vegetables because
Yeah,
carbs and vegetables and everything like that. So it's really about balance. We could talk, like offline about, like,
yeah,
weighing things and just being consistently and stuff like that. And I could totally, give you some other advice also. But it's really just about, like, being happy and being healthy and not starving ourselves and never drinking milk like that again. And but it's just about, like, finding whatever that program is that works for you. Weight loss surgery, I don't knock anyone. It's like, you put yourself through surgery. That is not like a cop out. That is not an easy way out at all. So
yeah.
now we can find ways to help you achieve what else you want to achieve, like, going forward. I've had a lot of clients over the years who have had some form of weight loss surgery. Not like
It's
you
not the
gain some
end
weight.
all be all. If you're
No, it's
gonna go
not.
into it, I did so much, I research everything about everything, but like I
Of
did
course,
so
yeah.
much research. It's like not the end all be all. I knew I was going to plateau at some point. I totally knew
Hmm.
that. And what I'm noticing now is that my old habits are coming back. I physically can't do them anymore. I'm
Yeah.
terrified of throwing up. Like I've always have been for my whole entire life. So I will never get myself to that point. And I know people do, like they eat so much that they then just,
Yeah.
I see the old habit. I know I need to like get myself back on track. A healthier you,
Doing
like you said. I love the name. The name is amazing because It's so true.
No, it is. It is. It's healthy. So it's funny. Like, I don't want to say I was like off the wagon all summer, but like, I definitely, my son was home from college. I went out. Like, I did things this summer. And I noticed, like you said, me kind of diving into some of my old habits.
Yeah.
So Friday, I was getting dressed and I put a pair of shorts on and they went on my body. Like, I wore them that day, but I wasn't happy with it. And I noticed like a couple little things, not just looking in the mirror or putting clothes on, that I wasn't happy about anymore. So Saturday morning, I woke up and today's day 5 of my reboot. I am in fat burn, which is like ketosis, and I have all the energy. I'm sleeping so much better. I'm noticing like a little blotchiness in my face, like it's gone today, like when I woke up, because I knew that I will never go back to where I was. You will never go back to where you was.
Yeah, no.
And so now it's like, for you, eat something protein based within an hour of being awake. Not coffee, but I don't know if you drink coffee, but like I don't drink coffee. So you're a coffee. That's okay. But we could talk about other things to put in your coffee instead of, I don't know what you put in your coffee, but look, your face is showing me it's not that healthy.
It's not. A little interruption from this episode. I wanted to share 2 things with you. One is I just created a Facebook group called the Happy Life Goal Getters. This group, I'm going to do free training and build our community where we can learn and grow from each other, and I can help you achieve your happy life through your goals. I am so excited to do this. I cannot wait to see you in there. Below in the show notes, I'm going to have the link for the Facebook group, but you can also search Happy Life Goal Getters in the group section of Facebook, and it should pop up there. And the second thing is my 90-day transformation program. I am accepting 5 new clients for the summer and into the early fall. This 90-day transformation program is absolutely amazing. It includes one-on-one weekly training via Zoom, daily or weekly texts depending on your needs for accountability. I then create a vision board based on your goals, aspirations, and dreams, and that is the cover of your personalized 3-month planner. I cannot wait to meet with you and learn all about your goals and how I can help you achieve your happy life. Let's get back into the episode. I've been really trying to walk every day, and honestly, it's actually not for weight loss. It's really about clearing my mind. It's self-development. I listen to either an audiobook or a podcast or something that is more of a self-development thing. I do that I feel amazing every day since I've been doing it. And I've been doing it now for a little over a month. And I've been trying to get up a little earlier. Some days I go to the city. Like yesterday I was in the city. If I want to get my 2 miles in, I want to do it. This is the sacrifice. I have to get up a little early. I did it. I'm up to like getting up at like 5:40, and then I lay out my clothes and then I'm out the door, and then I can get my 2 miles in, come home, take a shower. I try to also do like 5 minutes of like quiet time, meditating.
Have you seen Morning Miracle? Miracle Morning?
Yes.
Have you ever? So I started that January or February, and I was really good for a while.
I'm going to get back into that because I read it.
I have my book here. I got the journal. So here's my journal. I listened to it, but I bought my journal, and it reminded me of like some of the things you said. So in it, they have savers, and they stand for silence. So there's like your little meditation piece. Affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing.
Yeah. That's my morning routine.
I love it. When you were saying that, I was like, wait, and I don't get anything from Miracle Morning. It just happened to be at my desk. But I go back to school on Friday. I'm a little sad, not because of school, but because it's like before Labor Day. And I'm like, why are we going back before Labor Day?
I know, that stinks.
But that being said, I'm putting past that. I think Friday, or maybe tomorrow, because why should I even put this off anymore? Like, I'm going back on doing my Miracle Morning because it did help me a lot too. Like, it cleared my head. What are you listening to? Like, what self-help book? Because I am in the middle of one I like it, but it's been a lot for me. So I'm always looking for the next best book.
So I did halfies this morning. So this morning I listened to a business podcast. I listened to The Mind of George.
That one.
Oh my God. He's amazing. His like tagline is relationships over algorithms.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, he's great. Definitely listen to the Mind of George podcast. Awesome.
I'm writing this down.
So I did I think that was like 20 minutes. And then I am re-listening to, because I'm doing on my Facebook group. Actually, I have that right here. I'm re-listening to You're a Badass at Life or something like that. I forget what it was. So I'm
Yeah.
re-listening to that, but I am
Good.
focusing on my Facebook group for the month of September, money goals, finance goals. So
Okay.
I'm having the group read this book, which is You're a Badass at Making Money, which I've read before, but we're going to do a chapter a week and kind of like break it down. And there's like to-dos after every chapter. So, that's what so I was like, oh, I want to reread her first book and then do this during the month of September and focus on money goals. So that's what I'm doing right now. But definitely the Mind of George podcast I listen to. I'm binging from like before, and then I listen to like a new one. He does 2 a week, so it's pretty cool.
So that's brand new. I never heard of that. And I love relationships over algorithms, which is such an amazing hashtag. So I'm definitely going to do that. I think I discovered, well, I started to use Audible.
I swear by Audible. That is like my favorite thing ever. I swear by it.
I only started it, I guess it was probably like January, probably. Because to my teaching job, I have a commute. It's about 22 miles, and then you never know what traffic could be. So I've done probably close to 30 books this calendar year, which is something I've never, ever done in my entire life. I'm just going through my Audible because some of them, like, I've completely loved. The one I'm in now,
I'm
it's
go
like,
through mine too while we're talking, and
I'm gonna tell you like my favorite one, and then you tell me your favorite one.
Okay.
I've been switching like between fiction and nonfiction, but I'm scrolling back when it was mostly all. I went through a big Colleen Hoover phase in the last couple, like 2 months. I've done like 15 Colleen Hoover books. Like, it's been awesome. I loved Totally Different Feel. I loved The Energy Bus by John Gordon.
Okay, I didn't read that one.
I don't even know where maybe I was in a book club and that's where it came from. Or it was like a book that they did when I wasn't in the book club. So I'm like, let me try it. It's a totally different vibe of anything that you've probably heard, because it was nothing that I ever heard. You'll see it. Listen to it. It was super easy. It's only like 2.5 hours, but it was a great one. I really enjoyed that one. I've done like some, normal ones like Start With Why, which was important. I've done Atomic Habits.
Yeah, Atomic Habits is like a perfect reread. It's so funny. I have the Miracle Morning downloaded on here, and I listened to it quite some time ago, so I need to re-listen to it. I've downloaded a few that I haven't even done yet. So
I have like a wish list. I keep my wish list on my Kindle and on Audible. And then on my wish list, I'm trying to just How to Talk to Anyone, 92 Little Tricks for Big Success in Relationships. I've never read it.
It's good.
It is good?
Yes. Yep.
Then there's like Ed Milet's The Power of One More. He's on my wish list. I haven't done that one yet.
So I have a good one for you.
Okay, let's hear.
Think and Grow Rich. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. That's a good one. And then I finished, I would say like a month ago, The Third Door.
No, these are new.
Yeah, Alex Banayan. So it's basically, it's like going through life. There's 3 ways to go through life, or 3 ways to go through anything. And it's like, you're born into it, right? So think of like a club, you get on the VIP line, like you're living the high life, whatever. You wait on the line, you just sit there and you wait on the line, or there's a back entrance or a window you crawl through. Really, really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, really cool.
Highlighting that one here. That's cool.
I'm a big manifesting person, so I read The Secret or listen to The Secret every year.
I haven't finished it yet.
Really? So The Secret is what got me on my happiness journey, where I was like, I cannot live this life anymore. I listened to The Secret. I don't even know how I came across it, but it is what literally changed my life. I read it and I was like, I had a really hard time reading it. That's when I started Audible. I downloaded the book. I listened to it every day on my commute, and I re-listened to it because some of this stuff is hard to, if you're not in the right mindset, if you're in a very negative mindset, which is where I was in, you're not open. So I had to like re-listen to it a few times. Yeah, it totally changed my life.
But the energy bus was fun because it's just about the energy you give off and how it affects the people around you.
Okay, quickly, I want to hop into something because there's 2 things that I want to go to the energy bus first. I was just having a conversation with my friends last night. We have some stuff going on at work. It's not the greatest vibe and everything like that. And I just said to him, like, I have to change my seat. We don't have like, we're doing hoteling because they're calling it hoteling. Like, we go into the office, you have to book your spot. And because we're not in there every day, and it's just kind of like a free for all, almost like a WeWork kind of thing.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to move my seat. I got energy suckers all around me. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I walk in the office and I'm like this was yesterday. I was like, I'm listening to a podcast going in. I'm feeling good. Da da da. I'm like, good morning. And I got Ms. around me. And I'm just like, I got to move my seat. I can't sit here anymore.
Yes, that's so funny that you said that, but there are energy stealers out there.
Yeah.
We've all accomplished them, whether it's like
Yes.
professional or personal or family or the person like at the gas station, doesn't even matter. And they
Yep.
could just suck the happiness out of you. It's funny. So I got a text the other day. All right, so little things about me. I was married to someone who loved football, and I hate football. I do. I think I hated football because he never like included me in his 13 hours days of football on Sundays. Plus, he worked a lot of the year 7 days a week. So when it was football season and he was off on Sundays, and not that like you've just spent every minute with me, but it was like this 13, 14 hours of football, whatever. So I hate football. I was very happy when my son became a Steelers fan and not a Giants fan because he didn't share that team with him. That was on his own. I had nothing to do with that. That being said, I know. My son goes to the University of Alabama.
Wins.
Just a little. Yeah, he's a Met fan, not a Yankee fan. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
But Nikki goes to the University of Alabama, and if anyone knows anything, huge football school. Huge, huge, huge. So I decided, like, I'm going to take an interest in college football, and it's very social. Like, I meet up with other Alabama parents on Saturdays, and we sit in, like, bars and restaurants, and we watch football. I drag my best friend with me who's not an Alabama parent, and we go and we hang out, and it's a lot of fun. So one of these Alabama moms reached out to me the other day because I was organizing something for this Saturday. She's telling me that she can't go and everything like that. And in her text to me, she wrote, "You are such a positive, upbeat, real person, and I need that in my life." And it meant so much to me.
I know.
Well, it's like super kind words, but I've only met her one time in person, and I have had a few texting conversations with her. But I think between the vibe that I give off in our conversation and when I met her that day, but what I portray on social media also, like that is how she perceived me. And I was like blown away when I got that text the other day because it really meant so much to me. Because I never want to be that person that like all the negative things out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a big believer, like it's something happened yesterday. Oh, even just like about going back to school on Friday. Like I could be complaining, moaning and groaning. Oh God, I have to go. This is so unfair, blah, 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 blah. Or I could say like, you know what? Not the ideal to go back to school the day before, like Labor Day weekend, but I'm going to make the best of Friday and it's going to be great. And I could be miserable or I could just be happy. So I choose to be happy and not wallow and be an energy stealer or sucker outer or whatever you called it. Yeah.
Total sucker. It's crazy. I can't wait to listen to the energy bus because I think everything holds energy, like everything holds energy. And, I'm doing a lot of like researching about money manifestation and all this stuff, how money is like literally energy. And a lot of people repel money because they're afraid of money or, the whole phrase, like money doesn't grow on trees and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, how do you switch your mindset when you thought these things your whole life?
So it's funny. I always hear that people like, so maybe this is where your coaching can come in to help me a little bit because I need help with money. Funny, a lot of people say people think they don't deserve money. And I always think of it differently. And I could absolutely be wrong. I think some people just don't want to work and they're lazy and they don't want to like achieve all that they could probably achieve because they perceive it as like, oh, it's too hard. Like, I don't feel like doing that anymore. It's not coming. It's not growing on trees. It's not so easy.
It's not so easy. It's not so easy, but I think there's a lot of negativity around it. I know I had it and I'm trying to change that a little, but I do think that there's this thing called inspired action. And like inspired action means that you want something so bad. You're so clear on like what your goal is, whatever that is, right? You're clear on that goal. You feel that goal. You like really get it. And then what I have people do is, what's your why? Why do you want that goal? And really, I could tell you, why do you want X? You're going to give me an answer. It's going to be surface level. I'm going to ask you why to that and why again. And we're going to keep going and we're going to keep going until you get to the core and we peel away all the layers of the onion. We get to the core and your why actually makes you, I didn't coin this phrase, so I don't want to but your why makes you cry, right? Like, it's like really like you read it and you're ignited. And then it inspires you to take action. I think people think, even when people talk about manifesting or they talk about all those things, it's like they think things are just going to fall from the freaking sky. They don't. I firmly believe in a plan. I believe in you have to have action steps to, if you want to achieve your goals. You can't, yes, you could think about it, you could try to manifest it, you could like put it out there and all those things. But if you don't do the action and the steps that it takes, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. That's just like, that's the name of the game. Like you can't, wish these things and they're going to happen, or say like, oh, well, this person has that and this person has it. Well, maybe that person really worked their ass off for that, So there's just like all these things that people think that if they just believe it, it will, believe, receive, all those things. But that's why I don't call it, people call it inspired action. It's like when you really want something and then you do it. Okay, take losing weight, for example. You really want something, you did it, always felt like hard. Then you had this thing that happened to you, this Facebook post that you received, but you have this like, this like inspired action. You all of a sudden you were like, oh, I'm like 12 pounds in. Like, oh my God, was it not that hard? Like you almost like question yourself. That was because you had your true why. That's truly what I believe. You had a goal, you set a plan, you have your true why. And then all of a sudden this inspired action happened. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I cut you off. That is a problem. Like something I try to work on. Like it's like word vomit. Like you say something, you inspire me. And I'm like, wait, I want to like, yes. So, but I'm like, no, keep my mouth closed. So it's funny. When you talked about, with me, with my weight loss and hitting that, 12-pound mark. And it's funny because it wasn't, yes, was I happy I lost 12 pounds at that point? Absolutely. But it was more than that. It was everything I got from it that I didn't even know I was going to get from it. Like I didn't know. So here's a kind of little funny story. The mattress I had at the end of 2018 was very old, maybe like 20 years old. So I would wake up achy every day. Like I was miserable. I wasn't sleeping well. I was achy. My mom would tease me, well, Jen, you're getting older. I'm like, shut up. I'm not getting older. Like I refuse to listen to that one. So in December of 2018, I go to like, I don't know, Sleepy's or Mattress Firm, whatever, and I buy a brand new mattress. It's an adjustable bed. So my head raises, my feet raise. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to have a great night's sleep. I go to sleep. I wake up. All right, maybe it needs like another day. But like a month goes by and there's no change. I still wake up achy every day. I'm still not having this great night's sleep. So though my mattress was 20 years old and it probably needed to be replaced, that wasn't, I found out obviously the reason. So fast forward doing this program, I'm on program about like 10, 11 days and I'm at work and I'm talking to someone at work and it was like President's Weekend. We just came back from President's Weekend and he had this other job and he's like, oh, I fell at work that day. I'm all achy today. And it was that moment. And I went in my brain, I don't think I said it to him. I was like, holy crap, it's been 11 days since I've been doing this. I'm sleeping through the night. I don't wake up achy anymore. I'm so energized. I live in a building, but I live on the second floor. I ran up my steps last weekend and I'm like, and that's what kept me going. The weight was awesome, but I was feeling so much better. Like it's amazing to sleep in my bed and not wake up. Like it wasn't a long thing, but like I would wake up like almost like hunched over and it would take me like, I'd walk to the bathroom, I'd do my business. I would just like, not stretch, but like just move around a little bit. And I was fine in 5 minutes. It wasn't anything major, but I don't feel that anymore. And it was also like those things that kept inspiring me to go forward also. I didn't know about that. Like I didn't know that my food was making probably like inflammation in my muscles, like and everything like that. And that's why I was feeling so achy. Or that's why, I mean, I knew it was heavy. I wasn't running up my stairs, but I remember that first time I ran up my stairs and I got to the top, I was like, holy shit, I just ran up my stairs. No one's chasing me. Like, this is awesome.
No one's chasing me.
No one's chasing me. And that was pretty awesome too. But it was so funny. But I have to look into it. You'll have to teach me more about inspired action. And because I've looked into my why, but I like the way that you said, like, just know. Like you kept digging and digging and digging and digging. You help people dig. Because I think I know my why. And I've talked about my why. Maybe I need to think like further and further and further onto that. So you inspired me to take action.
Oh, amazing. Yes. I love the why. Like it is what keeps you going too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I have this like whole thought process about once you find your why and you have your goals and your 10 life pillars, you set the goals. They can be small, big, whatever. It's your happy life, not mine. So you set your, what your 10 life goals are. And then we string that together along with your why and create your happy life mission statement of like, this is, and it's in the present tense and it's like, all the things. And we create this like little statement and you put it on your wall and like, you look at that every day. And it's like, along with your vision boards, along with your affirmations, really claiming your happy life.
I made a vision board probably like 4 years ago. And by board, I mean picture on my computer. So
Uh-huh.
I'm not the girl who usually like goes and gets magazines and like cuts things out, but I'm really good on Google. Like I can Google anything. I can like create things. I love Canva. I love making
Love
things.
Canva.
I do. Like I also like I said before, I don't believe teaching was like my life goal. I love teaching, but I don't know if that's it. I love health coaching because I really get to help people, but I always wanted to be a graphic designer. I don't really even know.
Really?
I do. And I've never pursued anything about it. I think because I'm not artistic. I can't like decorate. So, side note, my business does really well and my lights don't get turned off anymore. My cable doesn't
Yeah.
get turned off. My car's not repossessed, blah, blah, blah. And I hired decorators this past winter to redecorate. Basically, I was going with one room and I did every room except for my son's bedroom, the whole place. Nothing major like carpets or floors or
Yeah.
countertops because I rented an apartment, but with decoration, stuff like that. I don't have an eye for that. But something happens like when I'm on a computer and I can create things. And I just need like conversation and to bounce things off. And I have fun and I really enjoy
So
like
you should
creating
sell
stuff.
digital products.
I
Why
need
don't you
to
do that?
I need to do something with that. I need to learn a little bit more. And I feel like if it's not this semester, like I need to go to Brookdale. I need to look at their online catalog, like not go there, but like I need to like go to their website, find stuff and see who around me because I enjoy it, but I feel like there's more I need to know and to do.
I
But I
think you
think I'm
should
gonna put
just
that to that.
jump in.
You think
Messy
I should just jump
action.
in?
Yes. Do it messy. Do it messy.
Okay. I've been taking notes on all the things that
Yeah.
we've been talking
Do it
about,
messy.
and
Doesn't
I'm gonna do
matter.
it.
Yeah. I mean, if you enjoy
Okay.
it, even if it's
I
like this
do.
little hobby on the side and like, you know, you can even make like all sorts of things.
I was the person like and it's not from like a cheap standpoint. Like I won't buy like teaching stuff. Like there's like a website called Teachers Pay Teachers. Like I don't buy it. But if I see stuff, like I can recreate it and I actually get it's like therapy for me to recreate
Yes.
something and make it my own. Like I do enjoy that. So like Canva is my friend. I love Canva and I love
I
to
do
do
too.
stuff.
I started to offer like vision boards, like doing vision boards for people. I did a service because I love doing it so much. So I do all my vision boards now on Canva too. And I put affirmation, like the whole thing. And yeah, I love Canva. That's what you should totally do.
I think I'm gonna recreate my vision. So I did my vision board, like I said, like 4 years ago, and it was before I was exposed to Canva. So it was more like a Word document.
Yeah,
And I like
yeah.
grabbed.
And setup is like and I didn't realize it until I did it, but like I'm staring at it right now because I have it here all day long.
Uh-huh.
But I have like 4 kind of quadrants almost, and then like 2 side ones. But and then I was like, oh, okay. So then I put, you know, affirmations attached to every one of them, and every day I look at it and I say the affirmations aloud, and that's kind of like what I do. That's part of visualization, part of my morning.
Good for you. I love
I
it.
love that.
I
Love
need to
that.
like, I don't know. I think I was in summer mode too long. And like, I'm going to set a goal for myself where I'm going to get back into doing all of the things that I know I need to do for my health, for my mind, for my
Yeah.
business, for relationships, and just to be like, I am a happy person, but just to even get more in
It's
touch
about the
with that.
yes, and it's about being well-rounded, which is why I did the 10 life pillars, like for myself before any of this even happened, like years ago. Okay, wow, I have like these 2 great areas of my life that are great, but other things are bringing me down. They're like, I'm not happy or I'm happy here. I'm happy at this point in my life, but I'm not happy here. And it was like, okay, if I could set goals for all these like, you know, life areas or pillars, as I call them, if I could set goals for them, maybe I would and can kind of try to achieve them, maybe I'd be happier. And that's like kind of how it happened. And it was like, yeah, I am happier. It's like I want to make sure that I'm developing myself and putting self-development first. Health, obviously, but that's also mental health as well as physical health. And it's like finances, because honestly, finances are a huge stressor, like huge. And you could have the happiest of lives and everything's going great. When your finances suck, like just shit goes down. Like it's like a tornado. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
home, it goes spirituality. And it's like, that doesn't have to mean going to church or whatever. It's like, what does that mean for you? It's like all those kinds of things. It's like what those are. And just making sure little things every day. And it's like, just every day trying to get a little bit better, you know, a little bit better for you. That's all. It's just really for you, for your happiness. We get one life. Let's make it a good one.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that part is scary,
Yeah.
that you get one life. But you're
Yeah.
right though, because I have to like wake up every day and make the best of whatever it is. Like whatever my situation is, I need to find the best in everything and do the best that I can be. And I mess up all the
All the
time. Like my
time. Me
son's like, "Oh, what are
too.
you so perfect? You think you're so perfect?" I'm like, "Oh, honey, I've never said that. Like just because I'm encouraging you to be better, I'm not
Yes.
saying like I'm far,
Oh my
far,
gosh.
far from perfect." And I acknowledge that and I mean that like every day. But I just try to not repeat the same bad thing or the same
Yeah.
mistakes. And I do.
Yeah.
I mess up with that even all the time. And then
Of
I try again like the
course.
next day, the next day, the next day. But I
You
laugh
know,
at him. He's like, "Oh, because you're just so perfect." I'm like, "Yes, I'm so perfect.
that's
So
me.
not perfect at all." You know children. Even if
Yeah.
you don't have any, you know children.
Yes,
And
I
they
have
just
3
they're
nieces
fun.
who are like my
Yeah, they're
little world, but yes, I
uh-huh.
hear you. Okay, we're gonna
Exactly.
wrap up with like the last question. So the signature
Okay.
question of where in your life were you lost and then how you found yourself and that kind of journey.
Okay. So I always listen to you ask that question. And even before you asked me to like do the podcast, I'm like, what would my answer be? Like, I'm always thinking about like that. And as long as I've been thinking about it, I thought about it a little bit more last night in preparing for today. And I think there's been like multiple times where I've been lost. And I don't even think I realized some of them until
Yeah.
I was thinking of like this answer.
Yeah. So true.
You know, my husband left when my son was 2 months old. It was without warning. And maybe if I wasn't on maternity leave and postpartum and taking care of a newborn, maybe I would have seen like a couple of the signs, but it really came from left field. So obviously, like super lost for years. And even when
Yeah.
I thought I was found, I really wasn't found. I mentioned before, I've lived with family 2 different times with me and my son. I've always felt lost living with them, not because of what they did, like not because of the way they made me feel, but
Yeah.
because I was an adult with a child living in someone else's home and I just never felt, I guess I just felt lost like in
Yeah.
situation and like physically, mentally and everything like that.
Yeah.
Then in I guess it was like 5 years ago, like my son and I moved in here and it's an apartment and I rent and I've always tried to make the best out of it. So I started to find myself being independent, living here, but I also knew like there was a part of me that was missing. I found Healthy You. I made a lifestyle change to get healthy. And that was the beginning of me becoming a more complete person, or like my hashtag is the me I'm meant to be. And I know every day I'm working
Love
on
that.
becoming, thank you.
I love that.
But I'm trying to like become me. And I don't know if I ever knew who me was. Like I had parents and step parents and my sister and I had friends and I moved a lot. Like I grew up in New York. I grew up in Queens and then at 15 I moved to Staten Island and that was like traumatic for me. I was miserable.
That's a
Like
hard
that's a
age.
whole it was
Yeah.
a hard age to like do that. So I felt lost then also. I made friends, but I just felt displaced. I went to college. I was living home after college. My mom and my stepdad moved to Jersey. I was still living at home. I moved with them. I didn't have connection. So, you know, it's funny, like even talking about this, I'm finding more times in my life that I'm
Yes.
lost. But now I think I'm really at a place like I'm feeling good. I'm feeling healthy, not being conceited. I look better than I've looked probably in the majority of my life. I'm more secure in myself. I'm joining things at like my teaching job to become part of that community, to feel that connection. Doing this podcast with you is something like I never thought would have ever happened. So like I thank you so much for just whatever your
Oh,
reason was for asking me to do it, but I really do appreciate it.
I will tell
So
you what my reason was. I was very, I actually think I found you from Facebook group, a
that
business
like a
group.
yeah, like yeah,
Yes, something
exactly.
like that. And I started to reach out to women just for connection, more about collaboration. And I'm trying to network more. And again, nothing to do with like selling something or anything like that. It was more
Right.
about, I just feel like networking is so important. There's room for everybody to do everything. And it's like, how could we kind of like help each other? And I just wanted to connect with people. I came across, I think, a post that you had written in one of the groups. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but then I went to your profile and I was like, oh my God, like, okay, I'm interested. Like, just like I saw that you coach people and just all that stuff. I'm like, I'm just very curious. And we kind of connected a little, just all on
We
Facebook,
did.
on
We did.
Messenger. And that's kind of how this happened.
So it's so funny. I get this random message from you. I think I saw your message before your friend request. And normally and you probably know this too, normally when people receive a message from someone that they don't know, it's because they're trying to sell them something.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in reaching out to random people just to try to sell them something.
Yeah.
Like no one will ever, if any of your listeners ever friend request me, you will never get a message that says, hey, would you like to try my program? I will never do that. I will send you a happy birthday message. I will say, oh my God, I love your shirt. Where did you get it from? But it will never be like me trying to sell you anything.
Same, yes.
So when I first see your message, I'm like, oh, what is she trying to sell me? Because it happens a lot.
Yeah.
But then I read your words and I'm like, sometimes like, I don't even feel like responding, but I'm like, you know what? Something told me just to respond. So I remember what I said to you. It was like this women empowering women group.
Yes.
And you said, oh, like, how have you found this group? Or how have you utilized this group? And I said, to be honest with you, I'm in so many groups. Like, I don't even remember that I'm in it. I don't really do it.
Yes.
I did. I said that to you because I don't really, you join groups, some of them you like utilize a lot. Sometimes you forget that they exist.
Yeah, same.
And then you said something to me and it was about me. So I don't know if that's conceit or not. You're like, oh, I saw your profile. Like, I'm really inspired by your journey. I had my own weight loss story. And then not because it was about me, but because I felt like you took an interest in something about me and you weren't trying to say, hey, let me be your goal coach. Let me be your coach. Like, it was just about forming that relationship. So you did that. You made me a podcast listener of you. You made me like find you. I got a new friend out of this. So I thank you for, taking that time and trying to, build a connection and a relationship with someone who you didn't know. And I'm glad that I got out of my own way and responded to you and took a chance on that also. So
thank you so much. Yeah. Again, it goes back to what we first talked about. It's about relationships and just building relationships and like networking, helping people, like all those things. And it's just like, I hope that this inspires somebody that's listening and, to find their healthy you and maybe reach out to you, have a chat with you, because I think that's amazing. I will definitely be adding in the show notes all your information, but tell people how they can, kind of connect with you.
Absolutely. So I am on Facebook. My name is Jennifer Janin, Janin. I went back to my maiden name on Facebook. Sometimes my mom will send me something. She's like, wait, is it Janin or Hughes? I go, it's always Hughes in the real world, except for Facebook. I am living my best pre-married life. I'm on Instagram, but I'm more of like a Facebook person. Friend request me. I give really good recipes. I inspire people to eat healthy. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, just say like, hey, I need a recipe for, and they'll give me like an ingredient and I'll find them recipes and send it to them.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So like if you tell me your favorite foods, I will give you a recipe that will be a healthy recipe for something that you enjoy eating. I always like give tips and tricks like on my Facebook. Like, as I mentioned before, I'm very open about my story, where I've come from. And if I can help someone else just, get healthy themselves, find a new career, or just need a new friend, that's me.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's why you're on my podcast.
I appreciate you so much.
I do too. This was so amazing and such a good conversation. And I really, really appreciate you being on here. And I will put all of your links down below so people can reach out to you, or they can just search your name on Facebook, or you can find Jennifer through my Facebook, because we're Facebook friends now.
We are Facebook friends.
Yes.
Jen with two ends. I love that we're Jen with two ends.
Not
everyone's a Jen with two ends.
That's
my favorite.
I know. Me too. Thank you so much.
That out. That was good.
And
you're welcome.
I really appreciate this.
I appreciate you too. Have an awesome day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please reach out. My Instagram and email are below in the show notes. I would love to hear from you, what you would want to hear more of, or if just you simply need some help and want to ask some questions, I would love to tackle them for you. Remember to celebrate the small wins. Little things equal big impact. Lead with gratitude and remember to give yourself grace. Have an amazing week.